Hi, I am Professor L. K. Gabel, Department of Computer Science, Government GSG PG College, Balod. These lectures prepared for class MSc second semester, Computer Science, subject Advanced Computer Node Networks, paper second, Unit 3, Data Link Layer and Routing Algorithms. This is the second lecture. In this lecture, we have covered following topics in routing algorithms, the linked list routing algorithm, linked state routing algorithms, and second congestion control. In congestion control, we have discussed about leaky bucket algorithms and token bucket algorithms. Now, what is the linked state routing algorithms? Linked state routing algorithms can be implemented with three parts. First is the knowledge about the neighborhood, second to all routes, all routers, third information sharing when there is a change. Knowledge about neighborhood, that means each node can have knowledge to its neighbor. That informations can be flood into the networks, that means all the routers. If any router have changed the information, then again they route the information in periodically basis. How to information can be shared, we can explain with the diagram. Here we can say that there are different network which is indicating black box, and there are different networks which is indicating cloud, and black box indicating routers. Router A have neighborhood router B, F and E. So, router A have neighborhood routers information. Router B have neighbor A and C. Then router B, these informations can be spread to all other routers. Same things, router C have neighbor B and D, router D have neighbor E and C. So, each router identify their neighbors, collect the informations. After collecting the informations, they can be spread into the networks, that means flooding into networks. That means all the information for each node can be transferred to the all the router. Next, we can say that what is the packet cost. Packet cost is the weighted value based on variety of factors such as security level, tariff on the state of link. The cost from router A to network 14 might be different from cost from router A to network 23. That means, a router A have different cost for different networks. Cost is applied only by the routers and not by the other station or networks. Cost is applied as a packet leaves the routers rather than as a enter. That means, where a router is a send message, then the cost is applied. If router is receiving message, then cost is not applied. Here we can see that in this example, A can be sent to the message B. So, cost is the 1. A can receive the message from B, there are no cost, that is called 0 cost. A can send the message to E, that is cost is 2. A can receive the message from E, there are no cost. So, this is called how to calculate the packet cost. Yeah, what is the packet cost? Now, how to what is the link state packet? When a router floods the network with informations about its neighborhood, it is said to be advertising. The basis of this advertising is a short packet called link state packet LSP. This link state packet have 4 column: advertiser, that is a net ID of advertiser, network ID of the destinations, cost, neighbor, that is the ID of the neighbor router. This link state packets is defined. Getting information about neighbors. A router gets its information about its neighbor by periodically sending them a short greeting packet. If the neighbor responds to get the greeting as expected, it is assumed that the neighbor is alive and functioning. If not response, then there is no neighbor. There are some problems between link. Now, how to initialize the router. Router can be initialized to getting the information about its neighbor. After getting the informations from the routers neighbors, a router can be flood to transmit to all the networks, all the routers in the networks. Here in diagram you can say that a router have information about its neighbor in box shown A14 1B, A78 3F, A23 2E. This is the information about A, router A. This information again B have same another information such type, C, D, E, F have their own informations. After getting information from each neighbor, the router can be flood all the informations to the networks. After flooding, each node can be each router can be calculate link state database, prepare link state database. This link state database for node A, node B, node C have a same. That means, in networks all the router have same link state database. There are no any difference for router A, router B. This link state database is the same for all the router. After getting link state database, we can prepare routing table for each node. How to routing table prepared? Routing table prepared using the Dijkstra algorithms. How to Dijkstra algorithm is applied? Here we can see that the Dijkstra algorithms calculated the sorted path between 2 points on the network using graph mode of the node and arc. The cost is applied only to the arc from router to network. Here we can see that this example cost link in the Dijkstra algorithm example, node A can be received and can be transmit both. If A can be received, then cost is 0. If A can be if A can be send the message to network, then cast is applied. That means any message goes from the router to networks, then cast is applied. If any information come from the networks to the router, then there are no, because every router can be receive the information firstly. So, information can be leave, that means sending the information from the router to network, then cast is applied. So, in this diagram you can see that cast A for network 14 is a 1, cast B for network 55 is a 2, cast C for network 66 is a 2, and so on. This tree can be calculated the routing table using the Dijkstra algorithm shortest path tree. So, we can form for each node a separate tree to calculating routing table. For example, if we can start from the A, then we can build up a shortest path tree. We can build shortest path tree. After building shortest path tree, we can find the routing table for A. Similarly, we can develop shortest path tree for B. After completing shortest path for B, then we can find routing table for B. These process are continuously follow for all the nodes. So, how to implement the Dijkstra algorithms to calculating developing routing tables? There are some steps. First, build the tree by identifying the root. Firstly, we can identify which is our root node. Root node, that means we can calculating routing table for particular router. So, this router is a root node. The root of each router's tree is the router itself. After finding the root node, the root routers, then we can attach its neighbor. It attached all the neighbor node. After attaching neighbor, compare the tree temporary arc and identifying the arc with the lowest cumulative cost. These arc and nodes to which is connected are now a permanent part of the shortest path tree. If compare and we can find, then cumulative cost is the minimum, then we can add as a permanent in the tree. Then after examine the database and identifying every node that can be reached from the chosen node. The node and arc are added temporarily to the tree. The last two steps are repeated until every node in network has become a permanent part of the tree. The only permanent arc are those that represent the shortest lowest cost route to every node. We can explain with the example of this figure using the Dijkstra algorithms to calculate routing table for node A or router A. Here first root is A, that means we can calculating routing table for router A. So, firstly we can add as A is a root node, then after we can attach their neighbors networks, which is a 147823. After adding neighbors, we can check the minimum or lowest cost of the networks. The lowest cost of network is a 14. So, you can mark 14 as a permanent, in red color you can mark it. After marking we can add B. Seen in figures, in 14 we can add B because 14 is connected to the B. After adding B, we can mark B as a permanent, that is a node, and add the lowest, add the its neighbor. The B have only one neighbor, that is a 55. Now, again mark the among the lowest cost from this tree, that is the 23. Then 23 is marked as a permanent and added E. Again after adding E, we can mark E as a permanent and add 80. 80 is the network for E node. Now, again we can check which is the minimum value in the networks, that is the 78. Then mark 78 as a permanent. After marking 78 permanent, we can add F with its cost also. Now, after adding F and mark F as a permanent and then add its networks, that is a 92. After adding network 92, we can again check the which is the lowest cost. Lowest here, the lowest cost is the 3 in the network, that is a 55. So, we can mark 55 as a permanent and add its neighbor node, that is a C. Now, C can be marked as a permanent and then add network 66. After adding 66, we can mark network 08 as permanent, because in the network we can see that 08 have 4, that is the lowest cost. After marking 08 as a permanent and add D. Again D is the permanent, mark and added 6. After marking, we can see that here D node have 66, but 9 is greater than 5. When we can add 66, so our 66 is already in C, but in D have its cost is the 9. So, we can deleted its link. Here cost of 66 5 in is already with C. So, we cannot add same network in different cost. We can choose here the lowest cost of network. Now, after adding all the nodes, we can mark this network 66 as a permanent and also marks 92 network as a permanent. Here some mistake in this way, 66 is eliminate here in last picture. After preparing this shortest path tree for node A, we can develop, we can design, we can formulated routing table for node A as follow. This is a routing table for A, link state routing table for A using the Dissectra algorithms. this link state routing, every route has exactly the same link state database, but the sorted path tree and routing table are different for each router. So, each router have their different routing table. Now, you can discuss about the congestion. What is the congestion? In internet, we can consider as a queue of packets. The packets can be transmitted node continuously and also they are receiving continuously. That means a queue can be added and also removing packets from the queue. So, consider the situation where too many packets are present in the queue such that continuously transmitting nodes are pouring packets at high rate and also receiving is a high rate. That means, these times occurs congestion. So, we cannot transmit it and also receive it. So, the line of the networks is a full. So, there are no data can be sent and no data can be received. So, in this example we can say that when a device send a packet and does not receive an acknowledgement also from the receiver, in most cases it can be assumed that the packet has been dropped by the intermediate devices due to congestion. Congestion is the situations. Congestion can have different reasons. Different reasons, that is a insufficient memory, slow processor, low bandwidth line, bursty nature of traffic. This is a cause of congestions. Insufficient memory, that means suppose a message can be transmitted and message can be received in memory. Suppose memory is a full, then what happen? No message can be received. So, this is cause of congestions. Slow processor, processor cannot be calculated timely the information about node. So, maybe cause of the congestions. Low bandwidth line, that means data is a heavy, but channel is a low. So, that means more information cannot be sent to the destination. So, maybe information can be lost. So, this is also cause of the congestions. Bursty nature of traffic is also cause of congestion, that means more huge amount of data can be transmitted in single line, but that not delivered to the particular destination node. So, this is also cause of congestion. Congestions have effect to vital parameter that that is called throughput and delay. Throughput, that means the maximum utilization of the networks, maximum utilization of the network, that is a throughput, and delay, that means how time to taken to take transmissions, that is a time. If transmission time is very less, that means performance is very high. If transmission rate is if delay is high, that means performance is weak. So, delay and throughput are major parameters to affect the congestion. Congestion control. How to congestion controls? Congestions, the objective of congestion controls can be summarized as to maintain the number of packets in the networks below the level and maintain the number of packets in the networks which performs fall off dramatically. Congestion controls refer to the mechanism and techniques, that is the mechanism and techniques which have some algorithms that can be control the congestion and take the networks smoothly. So, we can finally define the congestion control refers to the mechanism and techniques used to control congestions and keep the traffic below the capacity of the networks. That is a techniques. Now, congestion control techniques, there are two types of techniques, open loop techniques and closed loop techniques. Open loop techniques, that means avoid the congestion and prevent the congestion and avoid the congestions, ensuring the system networks under congestion. That means we can establish the connection, maybe avoid any congestions. This is a statical level, that congestion is a statics. This and closed loop protocol that allows system to enter congested state, detected it and remove it. This is the dynamic level, because I do not know which router, which information are sent or received, which path is defined. So, dynamically we can check that what is the state, what is the level of state, what is the problem actually, what is the actual congestion problem, we can detect it. After detecting, we can remove it. That is a dynamically, and statically we can ensure that avoid the congestion. So, we can statically define the particular net or path. So, next we can discuss about the congestion control algorithms. One of most important, that is the leaky bucket algorithms. In diagram you can see that a bucket is the display and there a leakage. We can pour a water into bucket, but bucket have flow leakage constantly, constant flow, but the flowing in the water in the bucket is a not constantly, but leakage is a constantly. So, according to these algorithms, these techniques, we can find the leaky bucket algorithms when the algorithm is such type, when the host has to send a packet, the packet is thrown into the bucket. Same bucket, water is thrown in the bucket, same things, packet is the thrown into the bucket. The bucket leak at the constant rate, meaning the network interface transmit packet as a constant rate. Bursty traffic is converted to uniform traffic by the leaky bucket only, and in practice the bucket is finite queue that output as a finite state. Bucket is a finite, then output state is also finite. So, in this algorithm you can say that simple techniques to control the congestion, message can be drawn into bucket and bucket have constant flow leakage. These algorithms can be implemented as follow using the queue. We can build up a queue, a finite queue. When packet is arrived in queue, if there is a room, that is called queued up. If there is no room, the packet is discarded. The bucket means that is represent as a queue. We have a finite size, packets are drawn in the queue and constant flow, that is removed from the leakage that is called if no room, that means bucket is a full. What happened? If bucket is a full, then we can add the water, that means that is a overflow condition. Then overflow condition, that means lost the data. So, this is the implementation in computer we can represent as a queue. Using queue you can easily implemented this leaky bucket algorithms. Now, second type congestion control algorithm is the token bus algorithms. Token bus algorithms, you can see that in picture some in regular interval tokens are thrown in the bucket. You see here there are tokens that is a regularly throw in the bucket. The bucket has maximum capacity. If there is ready packet, a token is removed from the bucket and the packet is sent. If there is no token in the bucket cannot be sent. So, this is a token bucket algorithms. Constantly we can token throw in the bucket, token is packet is token, if ready packet then token is removed, if packet is not ready then cannot be sent. That means there if no token. How to implemented this token bucket? We can implemented this token bucket as follow. In figure you can say that a simple variable are used just to count the token. This token is incremented by t second and is decremented whenever a packet is sent. When whether this counter reached 0, no further packet is sent. That means simply we can say that issue the token, if add one token per tick and remove one token and discard the packet transmitted. In the diagram you can say that. Thank you.